If you are just starting on your marriage adjustment of status application, you might be having quite a few questions about the medical exam and what goes into it, since obviously it is something that you need to do as a part of this process.
We will address the most important things you need to know about the medical exam in this video, so let's dive right in.
Hi there and welcome to our channel. My name is Margarita.
And my name is Dixon, and we make videos for people like ourselves who are going through the marriage adjustment of status process.
The main purpose of this channel is to give you guys all the confidence you need to handle this process completely on your own.
So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're always up to date.
In this video, we're going to cover three things. First, we'll give you an idea on how the medical exam goes so that you know exactly what to expect.
We will then show you how to schedule your medical exam, since it has to be done through a special USCIS doctor, and there are of course some nuances you should be aware of.
And finally, we will discuss when is the best time to submit your medical exam to the USCIS, since technically you have a few options here, and the option you choose will either make your process go faster or it might also slow you down.
Okay, so of course you're curious what exactly happens at this medical exam and what exactly they test for. First thing you need to know is that it's really a formality in many ways.
The doctor is there to certify that you're admissible to the US on health grounds, meaning you don't have any serious communicable diseases and that you're up to date with all your vaccines.
First, they will test you for tuberculosis, syphilis, and gonorrhea. From there, the doctor will ask questions about any prescription drugs you take, as well as your past and present drug and alcohol use.
An important note for those who live in states that legalize cannabis: just remember that it is still a federal crime, and any relationship with cannabis is a huge no when it comes to immigration.
And actually, in April of 2019, the USCIS issued a policy alert which reminded immigration adjudicators that the possession, use, sale, and distribution and production of marijuana remain illegal under U.S. federal law and can prevent naturalization applicants from establishing the good moral character required by law to become a U.S. citizen.
So be very mindful of these things all the way until you naturalize.
For the purposes of the medical exam, just know that the doctor can administer a drug test if they have any suspicions of drug use.
Finally, the doctor is required to make sure that you've received all the vaccines. If you're missing any, you will be required to obtain these before you attend your green card interview, but the doctor should be able to provide these vaccines during your medical exam.
We've included the list of vaccines under this video for your reference as well.
Make sure you have your vaccination record and that it is translated into English. Alternatively, a doctor should be able to administer a blood test to check for antibodies.
By the way, if you have any questions about the medical exam so far, drop them in the comments and we'll get right back to you.
Alright, now let me show you how to find the right USCIS doctor. You will simply Google USCIS doctor and the first link is going to take you exactly where you need to be. From here, you're just going to put your zip code or your address, and you can also select the language that you would prefer and the gender of the doctor. So let me show you something else. Okay, so if you scroll down, you will see that there are literally almost 6,000 results for just Miami alone. And you do need to understand that each of these doctors will charge different prices for their services. For instance, here in Miami, we have doctors who charge $150, but then we have some who charge $800 for the exact same exam. So it is very important for you to reach out to, I would say, at least 5 to 10 doctors to just inquire as far as how much they charge and then how fast they can actually see you and perform the medical exam. Another thing you need to know is that you can ask all the questions you have to the doctor. So for instance, if you're not sure which documents you need to bring to the medical exam, if you're not sure what form of ID they accept, literally you can ask them all the questions you have, because it is their responsibility to get back to you and explain to you how these things work. And it is their responsibility to fully prepare your medical exam. And another thing that I will say is that after they do prepare your medical exam, please, please, please make sure that you actually double check everything. Always ask for a copy of your exam, because sometimes doctors do make mistakes in biographic information. So that's just it for this part.
Just a quick note. If you feel like you can definitely handle this process on your own, but you want to make sure that you're doing it right and on the first try, instead of being completely alone, we encourage you to apply to our marriage immigration method, where we guide couples like you through the entire immigration journey all the way through naturalization.
Obviously, you can do it yourself like we did, but you just don't know all the best practices since you're dealing this for the first time in your life, and that's exactly why we came up with our approach.
You can find additional information under this video.
Okay, so now let's talk about the timing of things because strategy is really highly important when it comes to immigration. For instance, you can easily prolong your case by additional 6 months if you don't send your medical exam with your initial application.
Here's the thing. There are 3 ways on how you can submit your medical. First, with your initial application. Second, you can bring it to your interview. Or third, you can mail it to the USCIS, but only after they issue a request for evidence specifically asking for it.
In our experience, the best way is to submit your medical with your initial application, and here's why.
Currently, the USCIS is waiving a ton of marriage green card interviews. However, if your medical exam isn't in your application, the USCIS then has to first issue a request for evidence, and from there, you will mail it.
But we've seen dozens of cases in the last few months where the medical was mailed to the USCIS as a response to an RFE, but now, 5 months later, those applicants still haven't received their green cards, so the case just simply remains pending, and there is obviously no closure for those applicants, which, as you can imagine, is beyond cruel.
When the USCIS asks for a medical in an RFE, it always means that they want to waive the interview. And that waiting game for months is super painful since it often seems like the USCIS simply forgot about you. So definitely submit your medical with your application if possible.
We really hope that you found this video helpful.
We know that this whole process seems pretty big, and truthfully, it is a lot when you deal with this for the first time. So we 100% feel for you guys.
Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any comments or if you have any questions.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you in our next video.